Hey, I discussed this in my live stream earlier, but I wanted to make it its own separate video too, because I really want to address the things that I want to address the way people painted a picture of what it is I did when that's not at all what it was. And not for my sake, I don't give a shit about that, but by wanting to paint me in such a bad light, they're painting anything I've done or been associated with in a bad light. And this could really cause some harm in one place. And it's one place too where I feel like I've done the most good too. Um, so I don't want their incorrect assessment of what happened and what I did to cast any kind of shadow over the vaccine advocacy efforts being made on and off social media for that matter, but mostly on. Now, what I'm referring to is a stream from a couple of my ex mods here. I mean, but I don't care that they're streaming about me. I mean, whatever. I don't understand much of this, but that's not what this video is about. I don't care. Whatever. It is what it is. But what I don't want people to take away from their stream is that the vaccine advocacy efforts online or on social media are doing some shady shit when it's not at all what happens and what happened. And we really, really want people to just take away from this video the facts about this specific situation, this thing that they're discussing, because you'll see. Yeah, I can't even find the words. Like I'm so fucking like disappointed that this is the links in which the people are going to try to paint me in a bad light or come at me or whatever. Um, because I don't want to see an entire good movement end up having to pay the price for people not liking me or whatever. So the stream I'm talking about is from Nikki May. I'm just going to play like a little bit of it. And I'm only playing just a couple of minutes of it because this is where they're talking about the vaccines. And like I said, this is the reason why I'm doing this video. Um, I don't care about anything else said about me, and I don't want anyone to go show them any kind of hate or any kind of bad feelings or any shit like that. Just don't. Um, but also don't listen to them when in this regard. That's all. I mean, you can just I wouldn't. That's all. All right, so let me share the stream. And after when I share some of the stream as I go, I'm going to explain to you all of what really happened, and I'm even going to read some of the messages concerning this. So there's a link to this stream in the description. I'm just going to go ahead and hit play.
I just didn't know certain things that she did, i.e. this. Had I known it, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be her friend, but I'm just saying I probably would have pulled back a little bit, maybe not like, okay, you feel comfortable doing that? Well, I don't. So, but I kind of it had been so many months and I just felt like maybe I can talk to her and say like, hey, in private DMs that I'm sure will probably might be shown now, but
I didn't even catch that the first time. Why the fuck would any DMs be shown? Like the only thing I've seen said about that is on your Twitter. It came off as like a veiled thread, but whatever. I mean, I looked at our DMs, whatever. But I'm not sure why you're saying that. I know that's not what this is about. I digress.
just like, hey, I understand your logic and it's public, but do we think this is a good idea? I just didn't know the full scope of what she is comfortable with.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying it's my comfort level. And pairing that with her reactions on me coming out and saying, hey, yeah, I left because of this, or Claire that or Steve this, and just finding it strange that she says that we can have our own opinions, not like she gives us permission, but like, hey, everything's cool, we can agree to disagree, but then gets super upset when I publicly disagree, because my opinions haven't changed. I've always brought my disagreements to her in private. I'm just now talking about it more because I had my limit with, I don't really have red hair in real life. So I talked about that. And then she and Tina call us trolls. So I'm like, yeah, that's not cool.
See, no, I don't want to do this. I don't know, but I'm gonna just fuck it. I'm totally cool with you having a difference in opinion. I have been this entire time. You have come to me, and I've been cool with it. Why wouldn't I be? I haven't gotten mad at you because of a difference in opinion, or I haven't tweeted anything. I haven't said anything to you about a difference of an opinion. I would double check shit again. I also never called you a troll.
And left comments on her videos being like, hey, I don't appreciate that. Saying that in chat. Don't appreciate that. Maybe not specifically that. So I'm sure I'm going to get semantics over the exact word I said, but the feeling was that it's not cool to call me a troll because I think Steve's wrong.
I feel like that's kind of where I go with this article. Okay, so
I think he's wrong half the time too.
On how I'm talking. Y'all need to excuse me. I've been pent up with emotion for a while, getting over pneumonia with my husband. There's been some things. Basically, my issue is you cannot hold someone accountable, and that's someone being KJ, when you are doing similar things behind the scenes.
Right, creating sock accounts and contacting people. And it was for a good purpose, but that's not my comfort level. I find that strange. And I'm sure Aaron's going to hear this, and I'm sorry you're hearing it this way. And sure, I could have came to you all along, but just all this.
Oh, I don't care that you came to me or not. That's not at all it. What I'm finding really kind of troublesome is that your comfort level is at the point where you can see the harassment of grieving parents on social media by dozens of anti-vaxxers, that you can watch that happen and just sit by and do nothing or say nothing. That's your comfort level, because you're saying that your comfort level does not match what I did, and you must be confused about what I did. But I'm going to let this continue, and then I'm going to set it straight.
Stuff like in the past 2 weeks, didn't know, and I don't really know. Doesn't seem like we're on speaking terms. I don't know if we are or not. Haven't been contacted, so I like to give people space. But yeah, I just not my comfort level. Yes, and just to clarify, it says she is one of several vaccine advocates who've set up so-called sock puppet or fake Facebook accounts and then joins the closed anti-vaxxer groups to spy on them. She said she often sees members discussing posts by parents of sick or deceased children, sometimes suggesting that members educate those parents by posting on their page. Where does it say the thing about her contacting the mom? When she reached out to the mother in the Midwest.
You didn't even hear the rest of what you read.
Contacting her. I know you're likely getting many horrible messages right now. Children such as yours are the reason why I do my part to fight for overwhelming acceptance of vaccines, as well as fight against the lies and misinformation that are recklessly spread around against vaccines. So, okay, here's my perspective. I have a loved one in the military. I have attended many a military funeral, unfortunately. Not my family member, thank God. But back in the height of the Iraq War, that was when the Westboro whatever people would come to funerals, and yep, they came to South Kakalaki. The motorcycle group that came in, which they did, and I'm gonna cry, all band together so that the family wouldn't see the protesters across the street. I feel like that is similar to what Erin's intention is, and I do find that honorable. I do not think the way that she went about it,
just outside your comfort level,
I feel like it's intrusive how she did it.
Intrusive.
And I feel like there's enough resources out there that I don't think creating fake accounts and spying on people was necessary.
I also don't feel like it's okay to reach out to a grieving mother and tell her, like, please expect more of these messages. That mother is probably feeling things unimaginable to me personally. I've only had a miscarriage. I've never given birth to a human child. I've only had a miscarriage, so I can't imagine.
I'm sorry to hear
But
that.
if my child had died, people
Right.
reaching out to me like that on social media, to me, would be trolls.
Now, let me explain to you what this really was, okay? When I joined the Facebook page there, what's the harm? I started vaccine advocacy. Myself and a colleague witnessed the harassment and dogpiling of this young woman one night by members of the group Stop Mandatory Vaccination. Now, there's a big time difference between myself and my colleague. So I ended up going to bed shortly after we contacted this young woman, but she kept talking with her. And it's a good thing she did, because the harassment and everything was really taking a toll on her. And she was low on sleep, something about her kid being up or sick or something like that. Just she was getting to a boiling point with this young woman. And my colleague there, my friend, sat there, kept talking with her. Talked with her all night, talked to her off the ledge, so to speak, okay? Because this harassment, the shit that they were saying to her and everything, and she wasn't even a grieving mother. She was just someone who posted something in favor of vaccines. But the harassment and everything she was getting, it put her in a very dark place very quickly. But my friend was pretty amazing. But that also made us realize that we see this shit happen a lot. We see these posts happen a lot. We see group members in these anti-vax groups post. They'll share a post from just someone, a stranger, or someone from the community, or a family member, and they will then encourage other group members to go to this person's page or profile, whatever, and harass the shit out of them over vaccines. Now, a lot of these posts, I don't know how many, but maybe half of these posts or so, were people sharing something that a family member said in favor of vaccines. And now that didn't always inspire like a big army coming at them or whatever. So that wasn't that big of a deal usually, but sometimes it was. But no, this wasn't just reserved for people who favored vaccines. This was more or less designed to attack grieving parents and parents with sick kids sick from vaccine preventable diseases, because they were the enemy. So in 2018, the beginning of 2018, I looked at my messages. It was on my birthday in 2018. I came across this post in Stop Mandatory Vaccination where a member had shared this woman's post, and this woman was going through the loss of her child. Her child died from the flu, and he hadn't been vaccinated that year. She expressed, or no, had he been vaccinated? No, he hadn't been vaccinated. She expressed, regret and everything for that. Well, the anti-vaxxers didn't like that. They then accused her of her child never even existing, that it was a false flag operation, that she was responsible for his death. I mean, all kinds of shit. I mean, they were going out to attack her on social media. That they were taking screenshots and bringing it back in the group to like fist bump each other for their horror harassment. Now, I don't think I played it. Like, I already listened to this clip, but I think coming up next or something. Wait, let me play it.
Yeah. It's intrusive at the very least, I feel.
Yeah.
Although again,
y'all know more about this than I do. There's a comment. I think somebody's I don't know if they're really asking. Marine Mom, if you want to look at it.
Yeah, I see it. This doesn't say Aaron did the attacking. It says she warned them they will probably get more attacks like that. What did she do wrong? She tried to educate. She didn't do the attacking.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll say before the other people, and mind you, I adore JC and Megan. We might disagree on this, and that's fine. They're my friends. We can agree to disagree on this. But when you go real life and you...
Real life, that's what it was, yes. Tell me where I went real life. I saw a post on social media encouraging online harassment on social media. I then reached out to the target of this online harassment on social media. I reached out to them on social media and I informed them of what to expect on social media. Tell me again where I went real life. Because really, come on. Anyway, so yeah, sorry, these things hurt my ear. This, and you can go ahead and call it intrusive all you like, but I would argue that it's more intrusive for these dozens, if not hundreds of strangers to end up in a grieving mother's DMs telling her that she killed her kid. I think that that's intrusive. Me giving her advice on how to deal with that, how to handle that, how to navigate it, that's not intrusive. Now, so I reached out to this mother and I let me pull up the messages. I'm not going to read verbatim. I'm not going to show them either, but I want to read to people so that they can hear exactly what I did. And of course it's I know. Okay, so here's what I wrote to this mother. Before I copy and paste my usual message, let me just say how deeply, truly, and sincerely sorry I am for your loss. Horrific outcomes such as this is exactly the reason why myself and my family, we all get our flu shots every year. Yeah, just go on onto that a little bit. And then I share with her some resources online. And I also mentioned Light for Riley, which is a page about an Australian baby who died from pertussis. That family had, you want to talk about, I mean, thousands of people have, there's websites right now that are existing because of the harassment that this page went through. This was my first experience with a lot of this shit. And my God, they're probably still getting it. They've had mock pages and everything erected. I just really, the hell's his name? One guy. I'll figure out the website. I'm gonna link it in the description. But he documents the horrific harassment that this family received for years. He did a great job. I think it was Reasonable Hank. I think that was his name, but I'll get a link. Anyway, so I mentioned Light for Riley. And then I say, now I will paste my usual message. My usual message read as follows. The only thing that I would make situation specific was the name of the anti-vax group and the name of the person posting. So say, hey, just wanted to give you a heads up that some screenshots of your name, profile pic, and comments without redaction have been posted in a group called Stop Mandatory Vaccination by a member named so-and-so. Them doing this will very often lead to members of the group stalking an individual who disagreed with them and harassing them online. If you are a group member, you can report the post. If you're not a group member, you can still report the group for harassment. I have provided you with the screenshots in case you become one they target. Take care and good luck. So then this mother wrote me back that day. Thank you very much. I was not aware that there were entire groups devoted to trolling on this issue. I've already been getting anti-vaxxers on my page, which seems to be slowly increasing over the last couple of days. They then asked me how can you tell me how to block or post and shit or report and shit like that. So for several messages back and forth, I go through step-by-step instructions on how to do this, and then I give, share some more resources. And this ends with, the mother saying to me, I appreciate the strong role you take in helping protect families like mine. I will plan out to reach out to Riley's mom. Okay. Yeah. So that was that. Then a little over a year later, like 14 months later, they write me back. Hey, you reached out to me last year to help me regarding anti-vax responses to my post for my child. I really appreciated you opening my eyes to this. At that time, you mentioned that there were other families targeted to include the Family for Life of Riley. I don't know. A top representative from CNN Health, Elizabeth Cohen, has reached out to me desiring to run a story on this kind of social media behavior, specifically the anti-vax community systematically targeting families like mine. Would you be willing to speak with her about your experience with this to help raise awareness on this issue? Does that sound like I was intrusive? Now, I'm not the only one who did this or does this, because I went into the top groups or whatever each and every day. I would come, each group, I would find a couple or a few posts like these, and there were like 30 groups. I probably messaged 1,000 or more people throughout my time doing this, because this is what they do online. Now, one trolley thing, I guess you could maybe say I did here, and I think that this is why I'm being called Rod now, like Unirod, is when I first started sending these messages, it was right after I was really doxxed for the first time by anti-vaxxers. And yeah, I was a little put off by that. So I made a sock account to message these people on. And that's what I used. The name of the sock account is AA Ron. It's funny. Anyway, but after a few months of doing that, I don't know, it didn't really sit right with me, because I felt like here I am contacting these people at the most vulnerable point in their life, and I can't even do so under my real name. It just didn't feel right. So by the time she got back to me, or she messaged me again there in 2019, I was already using my real account to do this again. We finished the conversation over on my real Facebook account. So, yeah. Now, my efforts in vaccine advocacy is probably the one area of life where I'm most proud of, and I feel like I did some good. So I get it if people want to come. If you know, if these two or anyone else, whatever, you want to come at me, come at me. But don't put any black marks on this cause because you want to come at me. Let's just leave this cause alone. I mean, I'm not even involved with much shit online anymore. I'm still involved, only my involvement is shifted to almost entirely real life involvement, which I will not speak to at this point in time. So please, just leave it alone. Not for me, okay? But for everyone, everywhere, so that this shit doesn't just, they don't have something else to try. You painting this shit in a bad light, assigning trolling to our efforts, which using these sock accounts, we just use these things to gain access, to gain entry into these groups. We didn't fuck with anyone there. We didn't, in fact, we never even commented or posted. We just observed. So you want to call that trolling, whatever, but that's not really trolling. But you trying to call it trolling and making it sound like people who advocate for vaccines are intrusive and go real life and push your comfort bounds or whatever. None of that's true. And you're only saying that shit because you want that to be true about me. And this is something you're aligning with that. I'm going to say, just come at me about something else. Leave this alone. Just leave this alone. Real life, though. I mean, this was online. I read Every interaction I had here regarding this was all done on social media. None of this was real life. But God, it sure feels like it when you're sitting there grieving for a child and you have hundreds of hate comments coming at you. I'm guessing that feels pretty real life. So, yeah, so just leave it alone. That's all. Come at me over something else. Thanks.